Alright, what's going on, hockey friends? We are finally back, rebrand and all that is done. I'm ready to return with new videos, and today we're talking about one of the most exciting players in the 2023 draft class, Leo Carlsson. Now, I've been following this guy for almost 2 years, and I have to say, even back then, we knew this draft was going to be a very good one with Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli and Matvei Michkov. But I never thought Leo Carlsson was going to be in the top tier of this draft, and maybe not challenge, but be in the mix with guys like Bedard and Fantilli for the top 3, top 4. But this season, Leo Carlsson has exploded with his production. At the time of recording, he's on 14 points in 25 games in the SHL, and overall, he's playing a very mature and just impressive game. So in this video, we'll take a look at what makes him so good, and what we can expect from him in the future. So let's get all the important stuff done first. Leo Carlsson stands at 6'3", 194, which is a very respectable size for an 18-year-old. He just turned 18 as well. He's a late December birthday, and like I said, he's got 14 points in 25 games in the SHL this season, and at the World Juniors he scored 6 points in 7 games and was one of Team Sweden's best players. He was a joy to watch, and he did all of this as an underager, which is just another testament to his maturity. So the main thing I really like about Carlsson's game is how calm, collected and smooth he is with the puck. It looks so effortless, and along with that, his puck protection and playmaking is in the top tier of this draft as well. I see him more as a playmaker than a pure sniper, but with the way he plays, how smooth he is and just how skilled and good he is at getting to the net, I can definitely see him scoring quite a few goals as well. This is something we've seen more at the under 20 level than in the SHL, where he's only scored 3 goals, but sometimes you have to remind yourself that he is just 18 years old, which you would not think with the way he plays, because I keep coming back to it, but the smoothness and how mature he is very striking, as something that a lot of scouts and fans alike have been very impressed by. Now, an area where Carlsson won't make the biggest headlines is his top end speed. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not on the level where you go, oh, this is the major selling point about him. But honestly, he makes up for it with his overall game, and again, I'm sounding like a broken record here, but his smoothness and just that buttery play style is good enough for me. He's still a very good skater, of course, and I'm not worried about him not being McDavid level fast. And I mean, he's big as well, so the puck protection brings another layer of skill that is a major selling point about him. Any player that can combine all of these things, smoothness, playmaking, skating while being big, is always going to catch people's attention, and I think that's the case here with Leo Carlsson. So Leo Carlsson is obviously one of the best prospects in this draft, but it's also one of the better drafts we've seen in a long time. We have actual, genuine, generational players in Connor Bedard and Matvei Michkov. Now, where Michkov ends up in the draft is another question, but regardless, he's one of the best prospects we've seen in a long time. And then we have Adam Fantilli, who I think will be the main competitor to Leo Carlsson. Now, I think Carlsson had a better World Juniors than Fantilli, but they had different roles and all of that good stuff. But on the surface, they are very similar. They're big, skilled centers, and I'm probably making a video on Fantilli, but if a team in the top 3 or top 4 is left with a choice between Carlsson and Fantilli, you can't really go wrong in my book. But this video is focused on Leo Carlsson, so what are the arguments for picking him? Well, if I'm being an armchair GM, which I tend to be a lot, I have to get into the mindset of a general manager as well, and the first thing you see about Carlsson is obviously his size, and we all know that the old school GMs love that. But on a more serious note, there are so many things to love about Carlsson's game, and we don't have to go over that again, but if we're looking forward at his potential and what's to come in his career, there's so much upside. The fact that he's doing what he's doing at this level, which, may I remind you, is the highest level of Swedish hockey, which is one of the best leagues in the world, in his draft year, is so impressive. For me, Leo Carlsson is the most exciting talent coming out of Sweden since Lucas Raymond, and I know it's only been 2 years since he was drafted, but in my book, he's on that level of talent and potential. And Lucas Raymond was not putting up these numbers in his draft year, In his draft plus 1 year he was around these numbers, but injuries and COVID happened. But anyways, Lucas Raymond is my comparable for potential, and I see him becoming an elite winger, so in my book, Leo Carlsson has the potential to become a #1 center for that lucky team that drafts him. Now his point production has slowed down a bit after he got off to an insane start to the season, but I don't think that will impact his draft ranking, and I actually think his stocks will improve from now until the draft, and he had a very good World Juniors as well, and Sportsnet has him as the #2 in their draft rankings, so he's being looked at like that elite #1 center that he has the potential to become. People have been calling him a young Matt Sundin, and I can see it, and if he can reach those levels, then he'll go down as one of the best players from this draft, which on paper could be the best one we've seen in a long time. Now, the title of this video is slightly clickbait because he won't surpass Connor Bedard, at least in this draft, but I wouldn't be surprised if people started throwing around his name for that #1 pick just because of his size, and you never know. I was dead set on Shane Wright going first overall last time around. I even made 2 videos on him, and he dropped to 4th. Now, I don't think that will happen, and I'm fairly confident Connor Bedard will go first overall because he is a generational player, but I definitely think Leo Carlsson can put some pressure on him, and maybe that will elevate both of their games. I think Carlsson will go 2nd or 3rd overall. There's obviously Matvei Mishkov as well, who I think is the 2nd best player at the draft, but there are so many factors around him that I think will scare away a lot of GMs. He signed for another 3 years in Russia, and I don't know who's willing to take that risk. Well, anyway guys, that's the video on Leo Carlsson. What do you think of him? Talk to me in the comments below, and I just want to quickly apologize for my disappearance. I've been busy with other stuff, with school, with other projects, and on top of that, I've had computer issues as well. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. Excited to be back under a new channel name, and here's to a lot of new videos. There's hopefully another video coming later this week, we'll see. But regardless, I will see you in the next one.